Welcome everyone to our career panel today. Thank you all of Dallas ISD students and teachers for joining us. My name is Jinny Huang. I am the Special Projects Coordinator over at Visual and Performing Arts Department at Central Office in the Teaching and Learning Division. And we work with visual and performing arts library media services and JROTC actually as well. And so today we have 30 minutes with our awesome panelists. And so that's going to go from 12 to 12:30. And we have restricted the chat function. You won't be able to use that, but you will be able to use the Q&A to submit your questions to get answers from our career panelists. And we have an amazing interpreter, Juan Crespo, with us today, and he's going to explain to you how to use the interpretation option. Juan, if you're with us, go right ahead.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Juan Crespo, yo soy el intérprete que estará facilitando esta reunión en español. Si desea escuchar esta presentación en español, en unos segundos se aparecerá en la parte de abajo de la pantalla un icono del globo terráqueo, también conocido como el icono del mundo. Le va a dar clic ahí y va a seleccionar la opción en español. Si eso no funciona, regrese a la opción en inglés y vuelva a intentar la opción en español. Y si eso no funciona, a favor de dejarnos saber por el chat. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Juan. Learning something global every day. So please allow me to introduce you to our panelists today. First, we have Elizabeth Myong. She is a North Texas native. Liz actually works as KERA's assistant digital producer. She was first introduced to journalism as a high schooler through the Dallas Morning News's student voice program. She came to KERA, which is an NPR affiliate, from New York, where she worked as a CNBC fellow covering breaking news and politics. She's a proud graduate of Rice University, loves exploring the restaurant scene, watching old films, and hiding in the library with a good book and secret stash of snacks. Well, that is a perfect segue to introduce our next panelist. Here's Jinny Cho. She is another North Texas native. After graduating from UT Dallas with a degree in biomedical engineering, Jinny followed her family's footsteps by opening a gourmet donut shop in Frisco called Detour Doughnuts, and that's donuts with the D-O-U-G-H and not just D-O-N-U-T. So Detour Doughnuts and Coffee. She, as a Dallas native, Jinny has been mindful to use Dallas-based carpenters, designers, and suppliers as a source to build her business. You can see some of Jinny's culinary creations on her popular Instagram page at Detour Doughnuts, where she also advocates for social justice, mental health awareness, and the importance of culture. So welcome panelists. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction.
Thank you. Yes, I'm still talking about you. Yes. So we're just going to jump right in today and kind of kickstart the question first with Jinny. And so Jinny, I have so many questions, but first of them, you have a bioengineering degree. How did your early career choices lead you to where you are now, making edible art?
Yes, it is a long story, as with any story, but I actually love school and I love academics, but I was very deeply rooted into my family's business from like starting at a young age. And so when I was helping out with my parents' store after college, I decided to put both feet in and just try doing my own thing. I knew I wanted it to be more creative, and that's kind of how Detour got started.
Wow. Well, honoring your family's tradition, even though it wasn't exactly your path, it was kind of a roundabout way, but you came to it. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
So next, this one is for Liz. When did you know you wanted this job to be a truth seeker?
A great question. I think I knew very early on that I wanted to do something involving writing and journalism, but it really formulated for me that this could be a career path when I was in like 9th or 10th grade. Like you mentioned in my intro, the student voice program at the Dallas Morning News really just solidified that for me when I saw my name, byline. It was for the first time in the newspaper. It was great.
Oh, I got chills when I heard that. It's nice of knowing that you have this calling and going after what you love. So I'm going to stick with you for a moment and another moment. One word and one sentence. What was your first win that made you like really realize that just with full confidence that you were doing the right thing?
Ooh. I guess going back to what I was saying, when I saw my first byline, it was after the Summer Olympics in Beijing. I had and I'd done my story and I was really excited about it. And just seeing my name there and being able to tell my friends and family about it, but also throughout that process, the program was designed so that we would get community feedback. So it'd kind of be balanced, half positive, half negative. And when I realized that I enjoyed actually hearing the negative things and that I could handle it, I thought, you know what, I think I could do this for, going forward for my career.
Wow, nice. Okay, so it's a little of that recognition and also community support. I love it. Okay, going back to Jinny, what advice would you give someone wanting to enter your field? And would that be like, don't listen to the idea blockers? We're not advocating like not listening to your parents, but
Sure, yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Man. Definitely the most important thing is to recognize your inner voice, and understand that nobody has the vision that you have. And so there's definitely a lot of like kind of having to maybe not listen to this person, and like Elizabeth was saying, like kind of dismiss the negative, or is it constructive criticism, but to believe in yourself is a huge key.
That is totally like the majority of the battle. Sometimes it's, hearing something, we get so beaten down and we think, oh, well, then maybe I'm not meant to do this, but you have that gut instinct and you're saying, really trust that gut instinct. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So this next question is for the both of you, all y'all. What career mistake has given you the biggest lesson? We'll stay with Jinny on this one, and then Liz.
And I run a team of people, and it's a hard job. We wake up early, we work on weekends, our schedules are all over the place. And you have to have people on your team that want to be there.
Yes.
And I think over time, I've worked with people that didn't like 100% want to be there. Yeah, and like that makes things like really difficult to have to like carry other people rather than be surrounded by people that want to create, want to move upwards, like want to like do something different, want to have a voice, or whatever it is whatever your goals are. It's important to surround yourself with people that that have a positive influence on you, for sure.
Okay. So mistake maybe to like embracing all people at first, but really trying to focus on people who know their why and their purpose, and not to just hire somebody for the sake of hiring somebody, but really hiring somebody who knows their purpose and wants to be a team player. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Liz? What do you think was a career mistake that gave you, I'm sorry, what the career mistake that gave you the biggest lesson?
Yeah, this sounds cheesy, but I don't really believe in mistakes because I think you learn from them, and there's really no other way in journalism, I think, than, figuring it out as you go. But I will say, I think at a previous internship at a newspaper, at the Houston Chronicle, I remembered by the end of the summer, I had built rapport with my editors so that they gave me the opportunity to write, a big story that they wanted to be on the front page. And I had a strict deadline, and I was running towards that, doing the best that I could to report to get that in on time. And I remember my editor looking at it and being like, this isn't there. We got to do work on this, and having to delay it. And that really crushed me because I felt like I had, failed at what I had set out to, completing it in time and having it, set up the way that we had anticipated. But something that I realized later on was, it's about being able to communicate and asking questions and learning from those mistakes that you made. And it eventually did become, my first single byline front page story on the Houston. But it just didn't happen the way that I had first anticipated.
So it's really not about mistakes, big or small. It doesn't matter. It's a part of the failure that takes you to success. It's a part of the journey, and you embrace it all. And had you actually like hurried up and actually finished that assignment, it probably wouldn't have the same impact. And getting the kind of byline that you would have had you just rushed it all and maybe have to circle back and redo it. But now you took the time and actually did it properly, and that was your ways to success. And so you learn from that. Okay, love that. Right. And so sticking with sticking with Liz now, what did you do at work yesterday, and was that typical?
What did I do at work yesterday? I mean, we're in the middle of a
You wrote 3,000 words.
Yeah, my job, the great fun of it and the challenge is that it's a diversity of different things. So I think, I web edited a story for a couple people. I worked on a story that I'm doing and I'm reporting on about how Asian American history is taught in Texas schools. Yeah, I talked with our graphics team to see what they'd be able to do for the feature photo for that. And I spoke with my editor about, the different stories that we'd include in our newsletter, and the kind of, content we use in our COVID live blog. So it's kind of just a myriad of different things. And so every single day I think is a variation of that. But then of course, you're gonna have breaking news and it just changes the whole day.
Never a dull moment, but you're constantly learning. That's excellent. And so speaking of constant learning, coming back to Jinny now, how do you not stay like complacent and just, really like keep yourself in check? What do you do to
I always have this like low grade anxiety.
Don't we all as Asian Americans? Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, just, how do you avoid being complacent in your role? Like, stick with status quo.
Yeah, I think I'm never bored. There's always like things happening, things to explore, and I've gotten to the point where I enjoy the downtime when it presents itself, like when the store is good and the employees are good and sales are good and the world is like kind of okay and things, it seems like a mellow week. I just try to be present and enjoy it, because like before you know it, like there's going to be something else going on. And to just being able to make that shift, or if that kind of quiet time extends for a while, then I'm like, oh, okay, like what new can I try? Like what new menu flavors can I come up with? Is this a time to be like reaching out to other people to see if we can make events? I mean, my job is never, it's never boring. Like boring's not part of the vocabulary.
That's fantastic. I love how you really take time to rest, you know, to enrich yourself personally, and that in turns really helps you learn professionally. And just having that space to rest, you can actually cultivate your creativity in your job. I like how that really.
Yeah, I mean, I really only learned that during COVID, I think, because it forced us to slow down like all the way, you know, when we were like,
but that's not
it's
letting
not bad.
So it's not letting a crisis go to waste. Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we can totally embrace that. So let's see, one more question and then we'll get to the audience here. Let's see, Liz, how did you set yourself apart from others who wanted the same job? What made you unique in that position?
Oh, I have a lot of answers for this. This is very simple, but just be early and don't be on your phone. That's a huge thing. Just show up to your internship, whatever. And when you're asked something, always say yes and go out of your way to do more than is expected of you. And another thing is just, you know, like, you also want to work hard, but just be kind and be grateful to the people that you're working around, and find a balance between doing the work and building relationships with people.
Okay. I found that this is really interesting because my parents actually had a restaurant when I was growing up, and when I came to the States from Taiwan when I was 13, and my aunt and uncle had a family business, and there was like 16 franchises, you know, that they had throughout the Southwest. And I was, you know, forced to like work in the family business, and I really was so I'm grateful for the longest time, but everything I learned there, you know, really translated into my work ethic and how I approach my job. And so I love that you're really reinforcing that those ideas that it's, you know, the really simple principles that you practice personally becomes professionalism. Okay, so we have a fun little question. It's not little, it's a great question from the audience for both of you. So who is the most famous person you've ever interviewed or had in your store? So interviewed, this would be Liz first, and then Jinny, you have to think about who's a great celebrity you guys met.
Ooh.
Like, who are you rolling your phone and like, oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I'm probably going to go back and be like, oh no, but I talked to this. Well, I guess I have two things that come to mind. It wasn't really an interview, but I was able to cover an event that Mike Pence was speaking at Rice at my undergraduate university. And, for me, I'm just such a foodie. So I got to interview Nikki Nakayama, who's a great Michelin star chef.
Yes.
Yeah, and she, I don't know if anyone's seen Always Be My Maybe, but she helped influence the culinary decisions in that. And so I was just really starstruck.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, fangirl moment. Okay. Jinny, what who made it to your Insta feed?
Yeah, there's like well, you know, sometimes there are like professional athletes that like you can tell they're professional athletes just because of like their build. And I don't even know all of them that come in, but I have my employees tell me. But Alfred Morris, he used to play for the Cowboys, and he's awesome, super down to earth. There is and the Reverend Sean Amos, he is a blues musician, and he came in as a customer, and I got to know him over time, and he's actually playing at the store this Sunday, so that's awesome.
Oh, fun.
We became friends. So there's him, and then and probably like other donut related like kind of celebrities. Like I've met like other owners and chefs, like Max from the Salty Donut, and
Cool.
Leslie from Donut Project. And
Yes.
I mean, they didn't come to the store, but I've met them like basically through Detour.
Gotcha. So there's a lot of donuts in your life. So
yeah.
does Lawrence, your little boy, who's 4 now, I think, right? Does he eat donuts every day?
Not every day. He always asks for them when we're closed.
That's not my question. That's actually one of the audience really wanted to know.
Yeah, not every day, but I do bring him like a donut when I'm taking him to school on the days that we are open, and he does eat all of it, and only the top 2, you know, like where the icing is.
What's his favorite flavor? Like, I'm obsessed with the matcha sesame and the coconut taro.
Yeah.
But me.
His favorite probably is just like a chocolate sprinkle, or like donut holes, or
that would be my son too. Just anything.
Yeah, he likes the cookies and cream donut.
Good to know. So cookies and creams gives Lawrence a lot of satisfaction. So circling back to Liz, what story you wrote gave you the most personal satisfaction?
I guess I'll have to narrow it down to the past year, but I think I'll change it a little bit, not maybe a story, but it's been very meaningful to me to do a lot of more Asian American coverage, or coverage of the Asian American community.
Yes.
And it's something that I've been working on, you know, before the Atlanta shootings, but really ramping up in the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly meaningful also because I grew up here. And actually, I did a story with Jinny, or covering Jinny and her store.
I know, I was wondering if that's
donuts.
when you met.
Yeah, and so that was incredible.
Yeah, I love the Stop Asian Hate donuts that Jinny made over at Detour Doughnuts, and that really put a lot of these issues up front. And I love that Jinny was brave enough to share, you know, through you and through other news channels, that she was getting calls telling her not to make these donuts, and but she was courageous enough to step through it. And we really appreciate you both stepping up on the social justice front, and standing up to stop AAPI hate. That's really tremendous. We really commend you for educating the public and really helping our communities take up space, right? All right. So and the next question we have from the audience is, Jinny, for those of us that have not seen your Instagram posts, what is an example of something you have said to advocate for social justice and mental health? And then for Liz, what is your favorite book, movie, restaurant? So Jinny, I mean, we just talked about the donuts, and and you speaking up in news outlets. We talked about the social justice aspect. What about the mental health aspect? Can you touch upon that?
Yes, the mental health aspect is it's important, because I think even in I mean, I'm not a restaurant, but like any food industry, it's all like really fast and very busy, and you don't really have a lot of time to like think about yourself or your body. And the point is to just like keep going, you know, and like keep selling, and you don't give a lot of time to think about myself or yourself. And so this past year, because I've been spending a lot of time at home, I am trying to let go of a lot of pain that I have endured, so that I can make room for new things to come in, and so that I can experience joy and happiness and the way that it was meant to be experienced. And like without my own baggage, right? And I think in turn, you know, obviously this is for me, this is for my son, this is for the store, you know, and the energy that I give off is important to me, because we reach like quite a bit of people, right? And we have a lot of people like coming in through the
tens
store.
and thousands of followers and people come through. Yeah, thank you for being so open and vulnerable about this space. I can only imagine and try to relate on multiple fronts. Liz, okay, so let's come back to you. Favorite book, movie, restaurant. I have to admit, I'm writing Crying in H Mart right now, and
oh my gosh, me
lot,
too.
right?
Me too.
And favorite movie, you just mentioned Always Be My Maybe, and restaurant, I'm kind of partial to Genchi's dumplings over in Richardson. But so what are your spots though? And like, what's your favorite book, movie, or restaurant?
Ooh, that's hard. I would say right now, I'm gonna give you multiple because I can't decide. KERA by Gio Tolentino is just amazing. So Blue Nights by Joan Didion it just hit me so hard. It's a memoir basically about her daughter and her husband's death and in the same year, and it's just really heartbreaking. She's an incredible writer. Movie, I mean, Minari, when I watched that, I was just amazed to see just like, representation, but beyond that, just the quality of the film and the thought and humanity in it. And restaurants. This is going to be.
You can't even pick one.
A lot of my favorite restaurants are in Houston because I lived there for a long time. I really haven't had a chance to explore here. But I would say 1/5, By the Way Bakery in New York, Pondicherry. I love those restaurants a lot.
Awesome. Well, that wraps it up for us today. Thank you both so much for the amazing talk and helping our students and teachers carve out a path for their future. And we are just deeply appreciative of your investment in educating our communities together and being such great representations of AAPI. And I'm going to hand this back to Sarah now, but thank you, Liz and Jinny, again, for being with us. So let's see. Okay, one more thing for the Door Prize winners from yesterday's talk. So Xiaohui Ge, Corey Anderson, and Monica Ramirez. Please, please, please claim your prizes by emailing racialequity@dallasisd.org and join us. Yes, folks, I'm here all week and next week going to chat with more people about our amazing Asian heritage, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And there's more great career speakers coming our way. So hopefully you will join us. All right. Thank you, everyone.